Today I'm coming to you with a new segment on my channel, which is story time. And I'm going to be in pajamas because I feel like, why not? I'm just going to be sharing different parts of my life with you guys, home, career, any and everything in between. So this is the first segment of story time, and I'm going to be sharing with you all why I relocated from New York to New Jersey and what that process was, what prompted me to move, and just getting to know me a little. So for those who don't know, I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised. Shout out to the Bricks, which is what we call the city of Newark, especially Higher Court. Where I am from, it is a housing development, aka the projects, and I lived there until my 20s. So born and raised, Newark is a very major city in New Jersey, and I lived there with my mom, my brother, and my sister. And we stayed mostly in a 2-bedroom apartment for most of my life there. And then we moved to a 3-bedroom apartment, I want to say around the time I was in college. So when I would come home for the summers away from college, we had a bigger space, but always in the projects, always in a housing, urban housing development for as long as I can remember. And as I got older, started traveling, I went to Hampton University for my undergrad, and I got a Bachelor of Arts, Science, so I had a major and a minor. And I just saw the world has so much more to offer outside of my city of Newark, New Jersey. So I started traveling more with friends and solo. I relocated to Atlanta for a couple of years, came back home, and then I relocated to New York. And I was in New York for about 8 years. And so what prompted me, one of the first things that prompted me to move was I just felt very stagnant. And I know a lot of people can relate to, working in a career or field, and eventually you just feel like you've reached your cap. So I had felt like I had reached my cap. I didn't hate my job. I was just more so over the location. I tell anyone who knows me, I'm not committed to any one state, any one city. I have a very wanderlust type of vibe when it comes to relocation. It's just me. I'm not married. I don't have any children. So for me, relocation is always easy because I just have to relocate myself. I'm not trying to figure out schools, love life, and other people. It is just me. So keep that in mind as it relates to me telling my story, which is why it's always so easy for me to relocate and just get up and go. And so after 8 years in, the same store, for those who don't know, I work at H&M. I'm a visual merchandiser for them. I was just tired. Not, like I said, not tired of the people, but just the overall location. I was over the exorbitant price of rent in New York City. I stayed in the Bronx. And I was over the weather. I hate winter and everything that it entails. I am a winter baby. Birthday-wise, I was born December 30th, but hate winter. There's nothing about winter that I like. I like to be hot. I like to be on the beach. I like to wear sundresses and shorts. That is my vibe, always and forever. And so eventually having to stick it out, I was like, why? Like, why am I sticking it out when I don't have to? There's so much more of the world where I could live or work. So why am I just grinning and bearing it here? I was also working part-time at Sephora, so I had 2 jobs essentially, and I was just grinding. And I had thought about relocating, I want to say in 2016. I had thought about it. I have friends who live in Houston. I frequented Houston at least 1 to 2 times a year. I love the weather. I love the food. I love the people. The only thing was the distance. And I had a death in my family, and everything got put on pause. And so I just backtracked, I took time off from work. I took about a month off from work and decided, okay, this is not the best time to relocate. Let me just, buckle down, grin and bear it, focus on my career, my work ethic. So that's what I did. I started working on my career development, working on my opportunities, harnessing more of my strengths and really just digging into my career. Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to get there? Who do you need to speak with and mentor with to get you where you need to go. And so a couple of years doing that, we had a complete recall at my job, and it was like a complete 180. You know, we were being recognized for our work, our hard work. The leadership had changed. You know, we had the support we needed, and we were literally grinding on all cylinders. And so eventually came down to see my friends in Houston, and my friend, you know, she's always trying to convince me. She's like, I'm trying to get all my friends to move here. She's originally from New York also, and so in her mind, every time you come down here, it's like, when are you moving? And so, as luck would have it, there was a position posted internally in my job at H&M, and it was for visual merchandiser at, you know, one of the biggest stores here in Houston. And I was like, you know, why not? For me, the time is right. You know, I'm in a great place career-wise. I'm getting such accolades and commendations from my leadership team, from management, and I was just ready. You know, mentally I was ready, financially I was ready to take that leap, and then just emotionally I just knew that there was nothing else left for me here. And a lot of times I think individuals, me, and I'm speaking from my personal experience, we stay stagnant because we're comfortable. We're afraid to take that leap because of uncertainty. And for me, I always know that I'm going to come out on the other side. I don't know where I get it from. I've always been like this with school, with work. And I say that because for college, and this is a little story about me, I only applied to one school. And I just knew I was getting in. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was never any doubt in my mind that this is not the school I was going to. And I did go to Hampton University. That's the one school I applied to. And my guidance counselor, I never forget it, her face was just like, what do you mean you're only applying to one school? And for me, I'm like, I don't need to, I know where I want to go. This is where I'm going. Give me my application. This is it. And she was like, you know, you don't want to back up, but there is no backup. This is what I want. And for me, anytime I get these blinders on when it comes to my goals and the things that I want, it's a done deal, point blank, period. So long story short, I applied to Hampton, got accepted, got a scholarship, and that's where I went. And so I say this to say, don't be afraid, like, to take a leap. I know it's easier said than done, but I am someone who always sees a glass half full versus half empty. So for me, it was nothing for me to take this leap of faith when it came to my career, relocation. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to move during the holiday season. So I was trying to move, apply for the job in September. I got the position approved in October, and I had to move by November. So everything started moving very, very fast. And most people would be like, oh, this is not enough time. This is crazy. And for me, I'm like, okay. I will rewind to the time when I moved to Atlanta. Very similar situation. They had just opened the Atlanta market, and I moved also there with H&M from New Jersey. And I did this in 2 weeks. I took a weekend to go down to Atlanta with some friends, drove to Virginia. From Virginia, we all drove to Atlanta just to party for the weekend. I went apartment shopping, found my apartment that very weekend. We went down to Atlanta, came back home after that trip, and sat my family down, had a family meeting, and told them, hey, I found my own place. I'm moving in less than 2 weeks to Atlanta. And literally, they just looked at me like I was crazy. And same thing happened with me here when I relocated to Houston. I got everything, all my ducks in order with work, and then literally told my friends, my family, hey, I got a promotion at work. It's with H&M. I'm relocating to Houston, and I'll leave it a month. And that's my story time, my relocation story. I relocated because for me, there was nothing else left for me in New York, in the North. I had run that well. I knew I had given everything I needed to give to this market, and there was nothing left for me there as it relates to promotion or opportunities that I saw or that were being afforded to me. So in my mind, I said, well, if I'm not getting what I need here, why not relocate to a different market where I can, you know, possibly get more opportunities. I can go to a warmer climate, which is what I love. I can also be around more some of my friends that I also know down here, and I can just see what it is. And if I don't like it, I can always come back. And that's always my other idea. It's always been afforded to me with my mom. You know, you can always come back home. And I don't know that a lot of people have that option, but for me, I always tell people, it's like, if I don't like something, I just leave. Like, I can always figure it out somewhere else, but if I don't take the chance, I'll never know. So for me, I'm always willing to take that chance and take that leap to figure out if this is something that's going to work for me, as opposed to just being comfortable and stagnant and scared. And then in the back of your mind, you're always wondering, like, oh my God, what if? So that is my story time of why I relocated to Houston, Texas. I love it down here. The weather, the food, the people. Not sure this is my last stop, but for right now, this is where I am. And so we're just going to keep it pushing. Thanks so much for tuning in to my story time of why I relocated to Houston, Texas. Let me know if you guys want any more story times. If you have any questions, please ask them below in the comments section. And stay tuned for more Chloe Lear.